So I have just returned to Streetbike with a Hayabusa, and wow, what a journey back, man. I mean, even though it's wet outside and everything, and I'm obviously sticking to the speed limits, I managed to give it a little bit, although I did have a slight moment, bit of a skid out on the back wheel, but that was because I rolled on the throttle too hard. Progressive braking and accelerating is a key thing when riding a hyperbike in the wet, and you actually talk us through this. Now we have Alex from Streetbike. How are you, mate?
You all right?
You're right, I'm really good, man. It's good to see you, bro.
Yeah, likewise.
So I've obviously had this. Now I thought after the R1, anything I rode would be a massive, massive come down.
Yeah.
This thing, I'm not going to lie, it's really surprised me. I mean, obviously it's a big beastie. When I got in after the R1, it was like, it's like getting on a whale. But Jesus, it likes to be ridden, doesn't it?
It's almost a luxury tourer in some ways.
Well, I actually said that to start with. I literally said it feels like a
absolute pussycat. Loads of torque, loads of grunt, but really, really usable.
Yeah.
Even round town for such a physical big bike.
Yeah.
It's very, very easy to ride.
And it is beautiful as well. I mean, one of the things that struck me about it is that manageable. It's a very upright riding position, although it is a bike, because it's so big. Someone like me, 6'3", flying 600 is quite an effort to get on, and after half an hour, I rode this for a couple of hours, felt fine. And the great thing is you do twist your right wrist back, it literally, it goes, and it has got a ridiculous amount of power. But yeah, let's talk through a few of the key, I suppose, points of the Hayabusa, the GSXR1300. It's got a Suzuki's flagship hyperbike, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. They've never really classed it as a sports tourer. It's always been in the super sports class within their model range.
Yeah.
And it's not difficult to see why. It's one of the biggest motors they put in this sort of a style
Yeah,
bike. The torque that it develops is just phenomenal.
It really is twisted. Well, as I say, when I was coming up here, I was rolling up through second gear, got to 6,000 fine, just from the kind of like 7,000. Because of the amount of torque that was going through the back wheel, it really actually started to slide out on me.
Yeah.
And you can't believe that. You're doing, 30 miles an hour. And yeah, it's incredible that it's got that torque to do it. And you've just put the keys in. The dials that I like. They're mixed with analog and digital.
Yeah, it's such a cool setup, but very, very easy to read.
Yeah.
You've got a fuel gauge, rev counter, a gear indicator, a clock, all the features you'd want. If you're going to be doing a lot of miles, you've got all the display that you're ever going to need.
Totally.
Which is very, very easy to read. For this time of year, fantastic feature that Suzuki have started fitting to a lot of their super bikes now is the three-way mode selection switch. It will always default to mode A in standard, which will be the normal, full, smooth power. If you select down one, you're into mode B, so it's a slightly softer map on the fuel injection.
Gotcha,
You've still got the same amount of power in every mode selection, but what you've got with the difference between A, B and C is that it gets softer and softer as you go through.
And it's not quite as a tight throttle or front. Everything is a little bit. Do you know what? I've actually remembered now that it had that. I forgot the whole time I was riding the Busa it had that. I've been rounding around in the torrential thunderstorm weather we've had in full-on sports mode. Hence why the back wanted to kick out earlier. This is what a dunce idiot looks like. I was looking at that going, mode? Why? And I clicked it. I was like, oh, I'm sure it has a three-stage mode. Okay, I'm an idiot. Right. Well, that's good. But that is really handy. And we had that on the GSXR as well. And I know the R1 has a similar thing. It's not so much the engine map it is, it's more the throttle, let's say, throttle response and that. It's a great feature to have, because if you have a bike like this, you want to take it on the track, you want to take it on a dry day and get the most out of it, but you also, on a wet day, want to be able to ride it to the shops without breaking your neck.
If you're out and about, glorious sunny day, you get to the Ponderosa, you turn around, start lashing it down, change your mode selection.
And it is that easy, you can actually do it while riding and stuff as well.
While riding, just press and hold the button, and it'll change it.
That's brilliant.
Easy as that.
Now this is just to point out to people, if people are wondering, this is a slightly different one from the one I was actually riding, because it's been taken off already, isn't it?
That's right.
Because it was a Part X, so we just thought we'd get one that was inside nice and warm. So what else, man? Let's talk about this engine. It's a 1300cc, 1340, isn't it?
1340cc.
It is a beast of a unit. You can't really see much.
All hidden behind those aerodynamic fairings. Probably one of the most aerodynamic motorcycles Suzuki have ever produced.
Yeah, totally.
And in terms of a sports bike range, I believe it's also the most powerful, around 190 horsepower.
Really?
Standard trim, yeah.
See, that's interesting, because as I say, that getting on it from riding the R1, obviously, it does feel a bit bigger, but I compared it to a Bentley car that my cousin's got. It's just 2.5 tonne, but it still does 0-60 in 3.5 seconds kind of thing. It's still a supercar. This is in a similar ilk, but you forget about the power because it is so nice and easy low down.
Below 8,000 revs, it's an absolute pussycat to ride. It's
totally.
So smooth, wonderfully smooth, almost effortless to ride.
Yeah,
Lazy engine, loads of roll on grunt and torque.
And you do look at the mutts nuts. I actually got stopped by guys crossing the traffic. I keep sorry, I'm getting out of focus. My bad cameraman skills. Guys, I'll take a picture of the bike. There we go. I'll go over here. No, the guys crossing the road earlier literally stopped crossing and were sat there talking, pointing at the bike for about 5 minutes. Either that, they were saying, "Oh, that's a girl because my hair sticks out the bottom of the helmet." But to me, when I got it, it's almost garish, isn't it? It's almost like with all the big power bumps and the lumps on it. But I've completely fallen for it. I love the white finish with the tattoo. Yeah.
You really can see the moulding and the fairing there, particularly on the white one. It stands out even more so through the tank, through the seat cowl. You can just see someone sat on it, how the air is going to flow over it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a wonderfully designed machine.
It is beautiful, and obviously massive double disc front brakes.
Yeah, you've got the upside down forks.
Yeah.
Now fitted on those. Stiffest part of the fork at the top clamps into the yoke, so that's going to give you the best handling capability from the machine.
Awesome.
Radial mounted brake calipers now, again coming straight from GP and Superbike technology. It's good to see the manufacturers putting that into their road products.
And
now.
tell you what, it did feel like it could stop quickly. Especially in the wet, the progressive braking, it really did come on nicely. And I mean, the one I rode had Yoshimura cans on. This one's got a Beowulf one, I see. It sounded amazing. I mean, literally, just great. You know, head turning, different sound from the R1, which I love because it sounds like a thing. But
totally transform a bike. It's just a pair of cans.
Yeah.
Massive difference.
What's this like standard? What kind of stuff does it sound like? Is it
fairly quiet?
Yeah.
It's fairly subdued, but put a set of cans on, totally transforms the sound.
And it completely screams when it goes up there. Now, double-sided swing arm. See, look, I'm getting this. I'm getting this technical knowledge now. Hey, you're going to take me to geek
as well. Again, to give maximum strength and rigidity, which aids handling. Just makes it feel a lot tighter.
Wicked.
Considering the length of the bike,
and
the weight.
Well, it is a big bike. I mean,
extra bits will make it handle really well.
Totally. Well, that's the thing. It does feel heavy, but it doesn't feel awkward. It doesn't feel like you need to be 20 stone to ride this. It doesn't. You're not fighting it in the corners. No, totally. And I mean, if we were to put this next to say an R6, it is a lot bigger than it. Yeah. You know, actually physically, but you get on it. I think it's just to say it's well balanced. All the components are put together nicely to provide it with that good ride. It's one of the best bikes I've ridden.
Yeah, awesome bit of kit. It really is. So comfy as well. If you're even round town.
Yeah.
You'd think looking at it, it's going to be uncomfortable, but doing a long test report comparing this with ZX12 and a few of the competitors in its class.
Yes.
I'd be going for this every time.
Well, this is the thing. The Busa is known as a king. What else have you got? You've got the ZX12, Blackbird, obviously, which is Honda's version, which my brother owned for ages and loved. But I don't think it's got the looks this has got. And obviously I've not ridden one, so maybe one day I will and I can compare it. But yeah, so there are a few up there. Yamaha, do they do like a hyperbike?
Not in this class, no.
They don't, do they? Because they use the 1300 XJR, but that's obviously the retro naked. They don't take that bike, that engine.
I haven't got anything fully faired in that class.
Sweet. Okay, and price-wise, one of these, brand new, it's under 10 grand, isn't it?
Yeah, they now come in at 9.6 on the road.
That's cheaper than R1. That's 1,400 quid cheaper than R1. Yeah. And second hand, I mean, this one here is what? It's 08, is it? Or
yeah, it's 8,250.
8,250, and this has got 260 miles on the clock, so it's not bad. So you can see, you can pick one up.
For the money.
You probably think about 5,000 miles for one for about 6 grand, and for 20,000 miles, you're looking £3,000 to £4,000. I should imagine around that. Yeah. So that's. I'm getting good at it. I'll take my spot jobs in a bit.
Do you want a job?
No, actually, yeah, mate, I'd love to. I've always said to Gary, if all this radio stuff goes wrong, I'm blatantly down here doing this. But wicked. So that is Suzuki Hayabusa, as from Alex from Streetbike talking through it. I'll get you in place, mate. Always is good. And let's go get sorted. It's a V-Strom I've got next, isn't it?
V-Strom next.
I'm going to go get sorted on that. Wicked.